This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country. Dude, I've been wanting to find out this answer. How much more costly is it when you're towing a humongous boxy trailer versus a very aerodynamic trailer when they weigh identical amounts?
That's what we're going to find out, because we've got one truck and two trailers of the same weight, so we can run the exact same MPG loop and figure it out for sure.
Bucky 70, here we come. So the first loop we're running is with a big box trailer.
Exactly, that's going to set our baseline to figure out how much fuel we burn pulling around that very high profile but very nice trailer behind us. And we'll see if we can beat it with our smooth, sporty looking flatbed trailer with a Corvette.
And actually, this trailer is not the craziest you could tow, right?
It's true,
if you had an off-roady camping trailer with an air conditioner system on top, it could be even higher.
Exactly, so this test doesn't only apply to enclosed car hauler trailers like this is, but it could apply as well to a lot of campers, which tons of people out there tow.
Exactly. And we're using a V8 F-150 to do this. So this is not an electric truck.
No.
We're using good old 87 octane regular fuel.
Yeah, exactly. Our F-150 Tremor, Coyote V8 is a good all-around truck.
And of course, we're going to top off the truck each time for both loops.
Yep.
We're not going to rely too much on the trip meter. We actually want to see the fuel itself.
Yeah, we're going to calculate how much fuel we put into the truck to top it off, because that's going to be more accurate than what the computer tells us.
And we're here at 252.
Yeah, is that a good space? Is that your lucky number?
No.
It could be.
So Bucky 70 is really our northern loop, which is all highway. So it's kind of a steady state driving, 70 to 75 miles an hour on the highway, towing like normal people would.
And that's what the plan is to set the cruise control at the speed limit and try and follow that as close as possible so that the two tests are the same. The other good thing about doing this as a highway loop is because that's where aerodynamics are going to come into play, so it makes sense.
Exactly, and it's what people do, especially in summers, right? Vacations, they're hauling maybe their race car somewhere, like we're hauling that Corvette, right? Or just a camper or an enclosed trailer as well.
Yeah, and of course, if you buy a camper, it's not like you're going to have a much lower profile alternative to a camper necessarily as you would with one car hauler versus another car hauler.
Exactly, and the truck we're using is our long-term truck. It's a 2025 Ford F-150. It's a Tremor. Lane centering is not available. Well, we're towing, I mean, yeah.
Exactly. Just trying to get our cruise control set here. So there we go, cruise control set, moving back over. There's a little bit of traffic here on the highway today.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to maneuver around some of the other drivers that are out.
Exactly.
But I gotta say, one thing about this F-150 right off the bat that's not my favorite is this mirror configuration makes it a little bit of a challenge to see around this enclosed trailer. And that's not going to be as much of an issue on our other trailer that we're pulling today. Exactly.
Well, yes, because this is a kind of a base Tremor. It's an off-road trim level of this F-150, which comes with a couple of caveats. First of all, this does not have their maximum tow package, which includes those extendable mirrors, right? And also, the truck is narrower than the trailer. The trailer is filling up the lane. It's as wide as a semi-truck trailer would be, right? 8.5.
Exactly.
But the truck is still a full-size truck, but it's quite a bit narrower.
We're still well within the range of what this truck and this spec is capable of towing, but it's not my first choice for pulling a trailer like this.
Yeah, so this truck is rated at 9,900 pounds of maximum towing. We're pulling about 6,500. You should be able to do this all day long, every day.
Yeah, the visibility is is a little bit of a factor. And then at times, especially up here at altitude, this Coyote V8 being naturally aspirated does feel just a little bit anemic.
Why are people brake checking this?
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
They're like, there's a big truck with a big trailer.
Might as well slide in front of them and see how well my brakes are still working.
So I was also going to say, you mentioned elevation and altitude, right?
Yeah.
We don't have any turbochargers here, but we still have 400 horsepower.
410 pound-feet of torque and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Having that many gear ratios that this truck can go between makes a big difference.
And also a 373-to-1 rear axle. So, you know, ideally speaking, I mean, this is still a pretty good towing setup.
I would say so, but at times this truck still has to rev out a little bit to get the trailer moving. So we're definitely going to drink some fuel pulling both of these trailers. The big question is, how different are they going to be?
Exactly. And you know, I've been wondering this for many, many years, right? We've been doing towing videos for the last 12 plus years at TFL Truck. And this type of thing we're doing is especially sensitive for electric trucks, right?
Yeah.
Because they're hard to refuel. You know, it takes a long time to recharge an electric vehicle.
And especially when we've done range tests towing with electric pickup trucks, we've noticed that while weight does have some impact on your range and just your energy usage as you're driving down the road, aerodynamics is by far and away the biggest factor.
Exactly, and you can kind of, I mean, we learned this on the iGauntlet, some Denver 100 loops, and I was also watching a video by a different channel, Aging Wheels. He did a very nice test using an electric Silverado, but I wanted to use this V8 gas truck because I want to show that gasoline and diesel vehicles are also susceptible to this, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we've got quite a bit of mileage to cover.
Almost 70 miles.
I don't know if Ian's out of the way. I can't, again, it's so hard to see around this trailer. Yeah, so we've got quite a bit of mileage to cover so that we can do enough distance to get an accurate feeling for what the fuel economy on this truck and this trailer, as well as the next trailer, actually is. So we've got some time to let the miles go by. Yeah,
and if this was empty, it should get 20 on the highway. Something tells me we're not going to get 20 on the highway today.
Not today. Andre, this is a good-looking box trailer. Tell me about it.
Well, thanks, dude. It's not mine, but this is an Intec 24, which means the floor of this trailer is 24 feet long. But we measured it, right? And it's about 8.5 feet wide, which is the maximum allowed width of a trailer like this. And it's about 9 foot 2 inches tall.
So it's very high profile, which means it's going to push a lot of air. And what do we have loaded up in it?
Check it out. So the trailer by itself weighs about 4,000 pounds, just a hair over that. And then we have our Kawasaki Crew Ridge HVAC, which is a very fancy 4-door, 5-seater.
Fully enclosed, side by side.
Fully enclosed with HVAC.
Yeah.
That weighs about 2,400 pounds. So together, the trailer and some of the tie downs here, so this is almost 6,500 pounds right here.
And this is from our friends over at Complete Trailers, who have a number of locations.
Texas, Colorado, California.
And they've got a bunch of trailers like this really high quality unit, so you can check them out.
This is very sweet. Kase, today is quite a windy day, so safety is very important. And we're using our WaySafe hitch, so we can level out, right? And we also know exactly what our tongue load is.
Which is always a nice thing to be able to measure. So we've got the scale right there. It's also aluminum construction, which makes them easy hitches to move around and a bunch of adjustability.
Heck yeah, and we're 10% perfect. 10% of the trailer weight is right here, so we should be stable. All right, so we're coming to our turnaround point. It will be about 70 miles, like we said, Bucky 70.
Yeah, exactly. And our turnaround point is not much of a destination of interest. It's Buckeye Road on on I-25. We're north of Fort Collins. There's not that much up here.
Exactly, and so we've had some wind today. We can't control the weather, obviously. It's been pretty warm, but we're doing both loops exactly one after the other. And this is almost Wyoming, dude. So Wyoming is known for wind.
Absolutely, and these are real life conditions. These are the kind of conditions that somebody with a big box trailer like this can expect to run into from time to time. So all it's going to do is amplify the kinds of results that we would get anyways. But like you said, we're going to have the same weather conditions for both loops because we're doing them within the span of about an hour.
Yeah, and the trip meter says what?
Right now it's showing 34.7 miles and 9.2 mpg. So we're certainly fighting quite a bit of wind as we go along. Now it's saying 9.3.
9.3. So EPA rating on this truck is 20. So towing a trailer like this basically cuts it in half.
Yeah, which is about what we expect. Typically when we're trying to estimate what our range is going to be, what our fuel economy is going to be pulling a trailer like this, we figure that it'll be half what it normally is.
Dude, I can't wait to find out, first of all, at the pump, and then also the other trailer. Because if it's drastically different, I'm buying a pop-up camper, that collapses.
Yeah.
And goes really skinny, basically.
And ultimately, it will be impactful over the long run if you've got an enclosed trailer versus an open trailer. And that being said, an enclosed trailer like this still has its use case, because especially if you've got a really
very
nice
expensive vehicle,
high-end vehicle, something that you want to keep out of the elements, or if you want to do a different kind of build out, maybe you want to haul around a vehicle but also build out a little bit of a sleeping setup and have some tools in there and things that you don't just want out in the open accessible to anybody, then an enclosed trailer would be perfect for that. But we're still interested to know what kind of MPG hit you take pulling that high profile trailer versus something a little more streamlined.
Exactly, and also it's about money, right? You will be spending more money on fuel, but by how much? That's the question, right?
Exactly.
Dang, dude, 10.2?
And that's according to the trip computer. I'm sure that's in the ballpark of what we actually got, but we got to find out for sure.
Let's check it. So we're pretty lucky because the fuel cost here is actually really reasonable.
Yeah, that's not too bad. We're not actually sponsored by Buc-ee's, but it would be a lot cooler if we were.
I wish we were.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
I mean, but it's a good place to get fuel. There's so many stations here. You can get away from some people.
I'll tell you who we do work with, though. Grainger Warranties.
Yes, and we have lots of long-term trucks, and if you want to keep them for the long haul, right, over 3 years or maybe over 5 years, gotta check out GraingerWarranty.com. Save some money, get your truck fixed or your car fixed for the long haul.
Exactly, especially if you're going to be pulling heavy trailers, long distances like what we're doing today. This Tremor is working decently hard, not necessarily because of the weight of this trailer, but like we said, the Aero. I think our next run's going to be easier.
Wow. I think the trip meter was close to what this is showing us. Let's top off. Okay, that was not a big top off, I would say.
No, but that seems to be pretty spot on because we're almost exactly 70 miles.
And almost exactly 7 gallons. But for good measure, let's just calculate. So this loop is 70.3 miles, divided by what?
6.916.
6.916.
Ready? Wow.
10.2 rounded up. So,
yeah, trick computer was pretty spot on, actually.
So when you're pulling a trailer of this profile, and we had a bit of side wind also, you basically half your efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Bam.
Which is round about what we expected. So that's now our baseline, which means this next run is going to tell us what we're really here to find out.
What if we did like 15 mpg? Wouldn't that be awesome?
I'd be surprised, though. That would be a big difference.
Okay. So Case, as always, I gave you the hard portion of the job, and I'm taking the easy portion.
Yeah, I'm figuring that with this trailer setup, probably not even going to notice that it's back there so much. How's your visibility out the mirrors?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I can see over the fenders of this trailer, no issue. I can see everything behind me, and actually I can see through the windscreen of the Corvette itself.
Yeah.
So
visibility is improved, but I'm sure our fuel economy is going to be improved as well, and that's what we're going to find out. It's also worth mentioning that our buddies over at Complete Trailers have car hauler trailers as well, like the style that we're pulling. They've even got some really nice aluminum ones.
yeah, the ones that lift up and down.
Some that drop really low, so you can get some pretty low to the ground cars pulled up onto them.
Yeah,
So,
your Lamborghinis, your Ferraris, all that stuff.
all of those things that I definitely have. So yeah, there's a bunch of trailer options out there, but it seems like this setup is pulling pretty easy, maybe not noticing the wind as much as we were
Yeah,
before.
so here's the thing about wind or driving on the highway with a big boxy trailer. You may not have a headwind, right? Because that would be kind of technically the worst,
Yeah,
because the wind is working against you. It's kind of like flying from New York to Denver, into the jet stream always. But a side wind is also pretty bad because it's always like tugging at the leash, right?
yeah, 100%, especially northern Colorado, and like you said, getting close to Wyoming. Some of the winds that we get whipping across the plains and across the highway here are pretty intense, and if you catch that broadside into an enclosed box trailer, you're going to feel it in the steering wheel, especially if you're pulling with something like this F-150 as opposed to a bigger HD truck.
And also we're currently not using a WaySafe weight distribution hitch. They have the True Tow system. And that's mostly because we're using multiple trailers, and also we can't modify the complete trailers in tech,
Exactly.
right, to put those additional brackets.
That's a trailer that doesn't belong to us. It is a trailer that you could set up that way if you owned it.
Exactly. So that would help you a little bit because those weight distribution bars are square,
Yeah.
and they will prevent some of the sway or help mitigate some of the sway as well.
But with the car hauler that we're pulling now, it's not as necessary because it's not as much of a sail to catch all of that breeze.
And the Corvette is happy. I mean, he's cruising on the highway and he's not even using fuel.
Exactly, and it is a pretty streamlined car. It's only going to be as aerodynamic as a trailer with a car on top of it pulled behind an F-150 can be, but compared to the other trailer, we shouldn't be pushing nearly as much air.
And we spent about an hour and 5 minutes on the last loop, so we're going to be watching our time, and it should be, close to the same, hopefully.
Exactly. We want our average speed to be about
About the same. All right, let's keep moving. Now, Case, this is a completely different thing, right?
Exactly. For the low-profile trailer, we chose our Big Tex that weighs in around 3,300 pounds, and on top of it, we put our beautiful, one of my favorite company-owned cars, C3 Corvette, 1969, and this car weighs right around 3,100 pounds, which means we're tipping the scales at about 6,400. So these two trailers are basically as close as you're going to get two trailers in weight.
Yeah, this trailer is a car hauler. It's a tilt. It's very heavy duty. It's capable of up to 14,000 combined. So, but this Corvette makes it look so sleek and so awesome.
Exactly.
All right, dude, so we are approaching our turnaround point, Buckeye Road.
Buckeye Road.
No
We're going to make it
services.
famous.
No services, though.
No, apparently not.
But I have some really interesting news. The truck, remember it showed 9.3 or 9.2 last time?
Yep.
It says 12.3 this time.
Which is not bad, and it seemed like on the way back, it improved a little bit as we made our way over to Buc-ee's after turning around.
Yes.
So we might see the same thing here, but so far we're already seeing maybe 3 mpg of difference.
Which is a huge percentage point. I mean, this is very significant. If this is true, wow, I didn't think it would be that much of a difference, actually.
And especially over time, that'll add up.
Yeah. wow, I did not expect 13.8.
If that's true, that's almost 4 mpg better than what we had before.
All right, well, let's confirm it. I mean, we have to get some fuel and confirm this at the pump. 87, we've been using 87 all day long, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And now we find out the moment of truth. We did the exact same loop, so it's the same distance, 70.3 miles. I think we're gonna end up using noticeably less fuel based off the trip computer.
Yeah, and let's think like if you're going cross country, I mean, it will add up. I mean, all that actual fuel will add up.
Yeah, over thousands of miles, it makes a big difference.
Damn! You know, people give us a hard time about topping off after 30 seconds. They keep telling me that I'm messing up the pumps, I'm messing with people next to me, you know, and the pumps, you know, 4 stalls over. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. You guys have talked to some engineers about it. No one seems to agree.
I think if you keep like squeezing it and just going crazy, I think that's not good. You could hurt the truck or the pump. But waiting 30 seconds, letting it settle, I think I'm okay with that. Okay, that was a slightly bigger top off, but that's okay.
Yeah, still a big difference between what we had before, about 7 gallons,
versus
and now
5 gallons.
5.
Yeah.
It's a pretty massive difference.
Let's calculate. All right, so that was our old number.
Right.
I already forgot what our gallons were.
So it should be 70.3 divided by 5.125.
125 equals 13.7. So that's
3.5 mpg better?
Yeah. Dude, that's significant. That's like
a lot.
30%.
Again,
Over
yeah.
30%.
3.5 mpg, if you're getting 20 or 30 mpg on some other vehicle not pulling a trailer, is an amount that would add up over time, but not as significant.
Yeah.
But 10 mpg versus almost 14,
Yeah.
that's a huge difference.
That is a massive difference, especially if this was an electric vehicle. You
Yeah.
know, you may not have to stop as often and recharge as long.
And same thing, you'll get much better range getting 14 mpg versus 10
Yeah.
if you're going cross country.
Exactly, and you're spending less money too. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, pretty good.
Let us know what you think in the comments below, and as always, alltfl.com, right there.